What does the Bible really say about Noah's flood? What does the ark look like? Was it a box-shaped boat? Could the flood have been a regional event? How could all the animals possibly fit on the ark? Keep watching and join us in discovering the true Noah's flood. When we start to look at any past event, we start with the Bible, which will give us a true basis to start on. Genesis 7:11-14. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, into the ark, they and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. Then later on in verse 17-20 we read, And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased, and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed, and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went upon the face of the waters, and the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. That's the account of the flood, but where's Noah's ark? Let's go back a chapter to Genesis chapter 6, verse 14-16, which says, Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make of it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. So the question is, how do we take this information and form a realistic view of what the ark might have looked like? We all know it didn't look like a bathtub toy with animals looking out of the portholes and standing on an open deck. Something like that would not have been able to last through the flood at all. So what did it look like? Let's look back at the passage we just read. We saw that God told Noah to build the ark 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits in height. A cubit is about 1.5 feet, which would make the ark 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet in height. Some people say that the information given in the Bible demands the ark is box-shaped, but there are some problems with this. First of all, the box shape is a very weak structural build and will not have been able to withstand the pressures of the flood. Second, this build does not have anything that will hold it horizontal to the waves, and will, no doubt, turn parallel to the waves and risk rolling. But why do these people say that the ark needs to be box-shaped? Any modern-day boat is built for strength, stability, and comfort. Why couldn't Noah build this way? True, today's boats are made out of metals and steels, but ancient Greeks and Romans built strong boats out of wood, good for ramming and lasting through large storms. So how did they do it? Let's look at one of the ways they did this. Starting with a plank, they made holes along the side of it. The hole is called the mortise, where a piece of wood called the tenon goes in. The tenon is held by the dowels, and this can hold 2 planks together quite well. A couple layers of this, and you would have a strong hull that would last through the flood very easily. A common way they fixed the problem of rolling is by using a wind-catching feature at the bow, which would pull the front of the boat away from a parallel position with the waves, and a fixed rudder at the back would also help with this. Logically thinking, these people weren't too many generations away from Noah, so it is likely they got this knowledge from him. So, to sum up what the ark might have looked like, let's take a look at this. You most likely would have seen a wind-catching structure at the bow, a smooth-shaped boat, not box-shaped. The Bible says that there was a door in the side, and as chapter 6 verse 16 says, A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. Now we know a logical guess of what the ark could have looked like. But why would there need to be an ark if the flood was only a regional event? Many people say that the ark was a regional event, not a worldwide event. There's a lot of evidences against this theory. Let's just look at a few. First, God said that he would destroy all living things. And every living substance that I've made will I destroy from the face of the earth, says verse 4 of Genesis chapter 6. Now, if the flood was regional, then not everything will have been destroyed. Thus, God will have told a lie when he said he would destroy every living thing. God cannot tell a lie. Second, why would God have told Noah to build the ark if it would have been easier just to move out of the country? Third, going back to verse 19 and 20 of chapter 7, we read, "And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered." If the water was 15 cubits above the highest mountain, then either it stopped 15 cubits above the highest mountain, or the water went over that mountain and the next, and so on, and you don't have a regional event anymore. Fourth, if we look at Genesis chapter 9, 15 to 16, we see that God promises not to destroy the earth with a flood again. "And I will remember my covenant which is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth." If the flood was a local event, then God breaks his promise every time he sends a major local flood. There's another common question that lots of people ask. How could all the animals fit on the ark? The answer is, there was a lot of room on the ark, enough to fit 500 rail cars on board. Plus, if God could have sent animals, could he not have sent young animals? Not only for space, but also for a fresh start after the flood? If this were the case, then there would have been enough space not only for the animals, but also for their food and Noah's family. Even after this, there would have been about a third of the room left. Wait, if that was all empty space, then why did Noah build that? What was that room for? Well, that room was for anyone who would believe the flood was coming, go into the ark and be saved, along with Noah and his family. In the same way as the door of the ark was open to anyone who would accept the flood was coming, go into the ark and be saved, Jesus is the door to salvation to anyone who will believe and accept the end is coming. John 14:6, Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me.